Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you The World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum with the Paranormal and World Changes News. While whistleblower reveals what aliens want, the alien presence on Earth is real and complicated. Linda Moulton Howe is a ufologist that has become famous for her speculations that the U.S. government is working with extraterrestrials. It is known that she is established contact with many important high-ranked whistleblowers. She claimed that extraterrestrials are real and are here on our planet. Many important figures from the Army and from intelligence services approached her and claimed that the alien presence on Earth is real and very complicated. One of the persons who approached her was a Washington, D.C. military source. This person affirmed that the government had established contact with at least one type of non-human entities. He also mentioned a new type of grays known as IBANAS, which is an acronym that stands for Extraterrestrial Biological Entities. According to Moulton, this type of grays has the capacity to change their skin color depending on what they eat. Now, their eyes are the shape of almonds with brown irises. Scary stuff. Researcher, SpaceX satellite plans break U.S. environmental law, ruining the night sky. Thanks to the relatively low orbit, which makes them extremely bright in the night sky, SpaceX's internet beaming Starlink satellites are already wreaking havoc on astronomical efforts, despite only having launched a few hundred out of a planned 42,000 so far. Bone-eating worms and an alligator corpse. An education on the seafloor. An odd experiment placing the bodies of 3 dead alligators on the seafloor could provide researchers with insights into how the food chain works when there just isn't very much food to eat. The study immediately produced one big find, a newly discovered species of bone-eating worms. Now, these worms appeared as a colony of brown fuzz on the carcass of an alligator placed on the food fall experiment. This kind of worm had never been found in the Gulf of Mexico ever before. China battles underwater drone spies by rewarding fishermen who catch them. China pays a hefty reward to fishermen who are lucky enough to haul in spy submarines. Now, the report indicates that the Chinese government paid big for 11 devices in 2019 and 9 devices in 2018. The rewards were on a scale of about $72,000, 17 times the average income in China. Ghosts of Alcatraz, hauntings at the prison known as the Rock. There have been numerous incidents of spirit happenings experienced by both guards and visitors to Alcatraz. Male voices and footsteps have been heard. People have seen apparitions, and some guests have experienced the smell of smoke. Both orbs and ghostly images have been captured on film. Dancing dragon fossil is a Velociraptor relative. Paleontologists have compared the feathers of a 120 million year old dinosaur to those of modern birds. There was a 3.6 earthquake felt in eastern Tennessee just a couple days ago. Now, people from all across East Tennessee have let everybody know that the small quake had rumbled for a few seconds. A Volkswagen-sized cryptid wolf seen chasing a deer in Phelps, Wisconsin. And that was just recently, and here's the report on it. Let's see where it goes. Here we go. It was late fall, probably early November, and I was picking up my daughter from her friend's house, and we drove about 20 miles. It was early in the evening, quite dark yet. We turned on the road we were supposed to, came around the corner, and noticed a deer running fast across the street. An often occurrence, I slowed the car down in case there were more. When a giant wolf creature came out one side of the road in a chase of the deer, it leaped the entire width of the road and paused to look at me. This was no ordinary wolf. It was the size of a Volkswagen Bug at least, gigantic. But the weird part about it was the way it moved. It was almost like animated, or it moved like a machine. It was wolf-colored, but it had bright orange eyes. Often it looked at me. It seemed annoyed with me and continued into the forest to continue its chase. The hair stood up on my whole body, and I just sat there wondering what was that thing. Every time I take that road, I'm scared that I will see it again, but I only saw it once. I never saw it again, and no one believes me. They say, "Oh, you saw a wolf," and say that was no. I say that was no wolf. I still don't know what it was, but I was fully awake. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I know what I saw. Unfortunately, I wasn't keen enough to take a picture, and it happened so fast. Next news break tomorrow night.
You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark with our host, Gary Anderson.
And here it is. I'll tell you, it's a strange, strange night here on Night Dreams. Normally, I do a better job screening the guest. And I want to apologize. I've been getting a lot of text messages and emails. I was just reading it while James was doing the news. Unfortunately, sometimes, because of people's agents, they have, when they write a book, all I can say is if you're going to come on the show as a guest, please have some content to talk about. Now, Kevin D. Miller probably has a great book. I think there's something there. It's merit reading and getting. But if a guest comes on the show and doesn't want to divulge much of anything, then we got a problem. What are we going to talk about for an hour and a half? We ran out of things about 10 minutes into it because I realized he wasn't going to tell us anything. And no offense to you, Kevin, if you're listening, if you go on to another interview, you got to divulge more information. You just like a book. You start off in the book, and it gets exciting. Then it gets suspenseful. Then it gets up to where it's going to have its climax, and then it has an ending. Well, when you come on a show, you got to be the same way. You got to have the beginning. You got to have, the climax, and you got to have it ending. If you just have a little bit of beginning and that's it, then me and you aren't going to get along. I'm sorry, but that's what happened tonight. So I cut the guests off an hour and 10 minutes early. And I normally don't do that. But I just couldn't see going on any longer because he was not prepared to talk anything, was he? About the family. I mean, the way the bio and all that stuff, it makes it sound like it's so intriguing. And it was this, somebody got murdered in their bed. And that's it, pretty much. And everybody changed their name. That's all isn't that what you got out of it? That's what I got out of it.
It was, and me. I've always got questions. I can talk anything with anybody, and I got questions. I know he probably wouldn't like my questions because it was his great grandmother's brother-in-law who did the murder. So, there must have been some some planning going on there. Very trusting of them two to concoct this. So I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot going on. We'd like to know, but too bad we didn't find out.
And it had to be, because why would somebody change the name of their family and bury it? But the thing is, again, it could be a fantastic book. You need to go to Amazon or at Barnes & Noble and check it out. It's Kevin D. Miller, and the name of the book is Heart of Steel. Moving on. Like I said, I'm cutting the show early down to 8 tonight p.m. And for the stations, we're going to put in an hour replay of something to do content. This what is really bad is when I don't have a backup guest. So,
right, and you know what? It happens. Unfortunately, even best baseball players only hit 333. So, but our average is way better than that. So it's bound to happen sometimes. Unfortunately, it's too bad because there was a lot we couldn't know. But moving forward, today I did some research and watched some stuff today, and it all coincided with our past few shows, especially the one about the moon and the stuff on the moon. And again, it was Neil Armstrong was on the top of that crater, and he said, "Look over there. There they are. They're looking at us." And at that same time, when he was saying all this stuff, supposedly was that 2 minutes missing on the what they call it, the medical channel, and all that feeds through. None of that was actually live. It was like a 7-minute delay or something, and it filtered through Australia and then branched out through other computers supposedly. So that was some of the things I was finding out today.
Well, yeah. Well, they also immediately, when he started announcing what he saw, they told him to go to the medical channel because that wasn't being monitored by news media or anything else. But he opened his mouth and said quite a bit. I think today's his birthday. He's 90 years old.
Yeah, something like that. I know Neil and John Glenn are both. They're not. John Glenn's he's from about 25 miles from my house. They got a highway named after him. And Neil, I think he's from a little bit farther away from me. But yeah, they're both from Ohio, and I think you're right about that. Oh no, that's Buzz.
Buzz is 90 today.
Yeah.
He's the one that it didn't like what Trump said when he was getting his award from Trump. When Trump, was saying that he didn't believe in UFOs or things like that. Again, it was so exciting to watch Buzz just roll his eyes and mouth something. He actually even tipped his head. I watched that after, I brought it up the other night. He even dipped his head back, and you could see his eyes follow the back of his head. I know what he was mouthing. I just don't want to repeat it because it wasn't probably, the nicest thing in the world.
You're going to stack up some fines if you do that. But Buzz, and that's funny you bring Buzz up. Now, there's video. I seen the video today on that mission. He's looking out the window and he's filming, and the other astronaut filmed it too, of a white UFO that was what do you call it? It was trailing them, following them. It's on video, and Buzz got that first, and Buzz seen some stuff out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, guess what? They don't exist. The moon is flat. The Earth is flat. We don't even have a flat Earth. The moon isn't even in existence. We're all on a matrix and operating in the matrix.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to quote Mr. T. I pity the fool that goes up to Buzz and says, look, the moon missions were a hoax, and we don't believe in UFOs or aliens because they're going to get slugged.
Well, I kind of got the impression last night when we were talking, you said if we went to the moon. Is that how you feel personally, that if we went to the moon?
No, I'm kind of, I poke fun and make people think and question. But I got to tell you, there was a time in my life, I think we went there, but boy, it's funny, Gary, I do a lot of research, and I can show you evidence that'll blow your mind, that I make you scratch your head. Did we not go? But then again, the guest we had on, last week, Agnost, and he was talking about, and he kind of makes me think, yeah,